Hi everyone, my name is Chris Mutuma from eTeach Programming. In this video, we are going to look at JavaScript string properties and methods. Without further ado, let's dive in. So guys, as you can see, I have my work area open, that is my Visual Studio Code text editor, and I have my browser open. This is the live server. All right, so you can see everything that you're seeing here on my JavaScript is being spit out on my browser. Then also my console is open. All right, so to do that, you can just right click on your browser window and go to inspect, or you can press F12 on your keyboard if you're using Windows. For Mac users, I think it's Command F12. All right, so now let's go now to my main.js file. So you also notice that I've linked to my JavaScript file here, the main.js, which is empty at the moment. So we are going to use the JavaScript here purely. So guys, I'm going to collapse that and then open my main.js. So guys, what are JavaScript methods? JavaScript methods are actions that can be performed on objects. But here we are talking about string properties and methods, or rather we are talking about string methods. Now, and from the definition of JavaScript methods, they are actions that can be performed on objects. So, meaning our strings are not objects. Strings are not objects, all right? So now, for us to be able now to, or rather for JavaScript to be able now to treat a string as an object, we have to use properties and methods. So basically JavaScript treats primitive values. When we looked at our previous video on data types, we saw that string is under primitive values. All right, and now for JavaScript to be able to treat primitive values to objects, they do that when executing methods and properties on these primitive values. So for us here it is strings. So guys, we are going to look at the first property that we are going to look at is string length. All right, string length. Yeah, this is the first property here, as you can see on the browser window. So what is the length property here? So the length property returns the length of the string. And you'll realize when we'll be getting into JavaScript functions and when we'll be getting into, most importantly, into loops, you'll see that you will need to use this property when you'll be doing your loops. All right, so now let's continue so that you can see how this length property works. So the first thing is I'm going to declare a variable, call it text, and then inside the quotation marks. So anything that goes inside a quotation marks is a string. So in our previous video, we looked at the type of, where now you can go back to that video and you'll see the type of, to see the type of all the data types that you can declare. So here I'm just going to type a very simple word, JavaScript. All right, then I need to, the J needs to be in uppercase. Now, after doing that, guys, I'm going to declare another variable using the let keyword again, and then let me call it L, or let's say capital R, rather uppercase R, which is results. And then I'll say now the first variable, which is text dot length. All right, dot length. Yes, so I'll save that, but still you can see nothing is being spit out on our console. So we need to spit it out ourselves from our main.js file. So we do console log, and then we'll spit out R, all right? Because we've stored now the text.length here in the R container, which is our variable name, or rather our variable identifier. So guys, now here, if I save that, guys, and you go to your console here, you can see we have 10. So what does that mean? Let me just add something here on my JavaScript variable here, value, and then you see this is 10. If I save, it automatically goes to 11. So that means we have this JavaScript name here has 11 characters. So basically that's what our length property does. So guys, we can also spit it out. Let me say that first. Yes, we get and got error because reference error because R is not defined. So we are going to do text dot length right there. Let's see what we get. If that give us anything, yes, it's going to give us exactly what we want. So guys, it is preference if you want to create another variable to store your results. All right, so guys, that is the length property. So now the next thing we are going to look at is replacing string content. So now replacing string content, we are going to use a method known as replace method. Okay, so here we are going to use this needs to be in small. Remember, JavaScript is case sensitive, guys. So we are going to use the replace method. So here, this is a method. This is not a property. So guys, here on this one now, the method replaces a specified value with another value in a string. So, and also something else that you need to note is that these JavaScript methods and properties do not change the string. Okay, they do not change the string, they just replace. Yeah, so we say that JavaScript strings are immutable, meaning that you cannot change them, but you can only replace them. So now we want to replace a string. Let's see how that works. So in this one, guys, I'm going to create a variable equal to txt, and then I'm going to use my quotation marks here, and then I'll say like, share, and subscribe. All right, and subscribe to each channel. Yeah, guys, this is my channel, guys. Subscribe there, like and share as well. So now we are going to create now a new text. Okay, so remember, we are not changing anything. We want to replace. So I'm going to create another variable and call it new, then txt here. Then we want now to replace our text. So we are going to take our variable txt dot replace. Now this replace method takes two parameters, which will go inside the quotation mark since we are dealing with strings. All right, then a comma, and then the next. All right. So the first thing is, what do we want to replace? Which part do we want to replace? So I want us to replace this part here, channel. So that's what I'll put here. All right. And the moment I put that there, then I'll put what I want in here. So this text channel, what will it be replaced with? All right. So it will be replaced with programming. All right. Then just and terminate the statement by use of semicolon. Then guys, I'm going to console log out this one. Console log. Then here it's new text. All right, new text. Then I save that, guys. You can see on the console what is going out there. It's different. So I think also I'm going to console log. Let me just do a console log here so that you can see the difference. Then console log txt. So this is the initial text which was reading like, share, and subscribe to each channel. But now I've replaced the last text from channel to programming. So that is the replace method. All right, guys. So by default, the replace method replaces only the first match. So let's say, for example, now here we are going to create another variable here. Now, for this replace method to work, maybe we have more than one thing, rather more than one text is appearing more than one time in that string. So the replace method, what the replace method will do, they will replace the first match. So let's see that in action. So this is just a name I'm giving to my variable. As in, you can just give any name you want following the naming conventions. Rather, don't so you don't have to start a variable name using a number. All right, so that. So you need to keep in mind that JavaScript is case sensitive as well. So JavaScript methods and JavaScript properties. All right, so you can see we have the first JavaScript and then we have the second JavaScript. So I need to make sure that they are the same. Then we need to give now let me call a new app. We need to create a variable that will hold our new that will hold our new string. Replace. So we want to replace what? All right, we are replacing what? What do we want to replace? We want to replace the JavaScript word. All right, so JavaScript. As I said, always remember JavaScript is case sensitive. Vanilla script. All right, then here just do console.log and we log out our new. Right, so if we save that, guys, you can see that automatically, all right, automatically, and also console log the rep first of all, the initial our initial text, and you see here JavaScript methods and JavaScript properties, and then here we have vanilla script methods and JavaScript properties. So you can see that replace method will replace the first match. All right, only the first match. And as I said, the method is case sensitive, because if I did here JavaScript in uppercase, all right, and save that, you see nothing changed. My my strings are the same. Okay, the first and the second one. So JavaScript is case sensitive, and also the replacement is case sensitive. So you need to be very careful when using these methods. All right. So the next method that we are going to look at is converting to uppercase. So we have a string that we want to convert to uppercase. Uppercase. All right. So we are going to define a variable here, and then we call it upper. Give it a upper, and then we type inside here JavaScript. Sorry, JavaScript. I can't type. Okay, pardon me. Now, guys, we want to convert now this variable upper to uppercase. So we have to use a method to be able to achieve that. So how will you do that? So I'm going to create another variable container that will hold our results. All right, so I'll call it new upper. All right, and then equals upper dot to upper case. So guys, I want you to look at this very carefully. So the first word to is in lowercase, but the next word in the same method, the first character is uppercase. So this is what we call camel case. All right, so everything else should be, any other word that comes after the first word should have their first character as an uppercase. All right, then finally console log that so that we can get to our new upper. All right, so let's save that. So you can see it's spitting this one. All right, so it's good to also console log the initial one, the original string, which was upper. All right, so if you save that, you can see now this is the original and this is the new script. So the other method that we are going to look at is that is converting to lowercase. Now that's the opposite of uppercase. Right? So lowercase. Now this one, I'm just going to copy these two to save time, and then here upper change it to lower, and then I need to change this so that we can see it working. Right? JavaScript. Guys, when you'll be using this method mostly when you'll be building your search. Okay, well, now on your app, when you're building search, yeah, the search that is the search text box. So now that API, when it will be running, so you need to convert everything that the user types to lowercase. So then also change this to lower as well, and then change this as well to lower. Remember camel case, right? And then here again change this to lower. So this is the initial script, the initial string, and then to new lower. So if you save that, guys, you'll see this is the initial script, the initial string, and now this is the new string. So you can see that there's a difference here, guys. This has a capital, that's an uppercase J, all right, and now this one has a lowercase j. So guys, that is converting to upper and converting to lowercase. So the next method that I want us to look at is the concat method. So for you guys who have done, or rather who have experience in databases using the maybe for example SQL, there is this method as well in SQL, concat. So concating means joining two or more strings together in JavaScript. So there are two ways of doing this in JavaScript, and the first method we are going to look at is using concat method itself instead. Okay, yeah, let me just call it that, using concat method. All right, so here we are going to define a variable. I'll call it first name. Used camel case here. Then inside my strings I'll do Joshua, and then I'll display another variable, last name, and then let me terminate with a semicolon, and then call him Watkins. All right, guys. So this guys here, now we are going now to create now another container that will hold our results, or rather our final results, which is full name. And now inside this full name, we are going to take the first name. All right, we do a dot concat there. All right, then we do a pair of empty strings and create a space inside them. We do a comma and then last name. Okay, so then we do also log full name. So if you save that, guys, see we have joined the first name variable with the last name variable through the use of the concat method. All right, so hope that is clear, guys. Now the next method is by use of the plus, using plus operator. Yes, the plus operator, that is the plus we are talking about. So we can concatenate, or rather we can join two strings using the plus operator other than using the concat method. All right, so how do we go about that? Let's declare a variable fname. All right, and then we call it Chris, that's me. Then let other name equals to second name Tuma, and then let now the both names equal to the first name. All right, then a space, do our plus operator, then we do our empty strings with a space inside to create a space, again a space, then a plus space, and then other name. Okay, so we terminate our statement using a semicolon. Then we console log, and then do both names. Then save that, and you can see, guys, we still getting the same result as this other result. So you can use both of these, but now there are also other ways of doing of joining strings in JavaScript, which we are going to look at in our other videos as we proceed with this series of JavaScript. So note strings are immutable, as I mentioned earlier, meaning they cannot be changed, they can only be replaced. Alright, guys, so ideally that's all I had for you tonight, or rather in this video. And you can see we only are covering these five. The first, which is the property, and then the other four, which are string methods. So guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.